Okay, so
I'm just trying to figure out why you would do this.
Morty, we have to get going or we're gonna be late. Where's your grandpa?
Right here, sweetie. I'm a pickle.
What? Why would you be... Look, we're running late. We have to go.
Rick, did you do this on purpose to get out of family counseling?
Morty!
It's okay, Beth. I'm not offended. I understand Morty's suspicion. I've misled him before.
hello, welcome. I'm Ashley, and I am making a thing. Dangerously, but I have managed to keep all of my fingers this time. I had intended for this video to come out for the Rick and Morty Season 5 premiere, but alas, life happens, as do sound issues. I got these chips specifically for this project, and I actually like them. They have a kind of light salt and vinegar taste to them. First, well, second, I guess, I'm going to put some aluminum foil so as to not waste more expensive materials. Reed clay. Yes, that is Jazza's face. A lot of the tools that are here came from his Ultimate Creativity collection. Okay, so we have our forms now, and now we need some of that expensive clay. No, stop playing with that. To be fair, it's not that expensive, it's just expensive in comparison. I'm going to use this pasta maker to flatten out the clay. I got this device after watching Ace of Clay's wonderfully awesome videos. Obviously, I require some more experience using this, like pretty much everything else. I look forward to sharing those artastic adventures with you. Now, this wasn't supposed to be my first video, meaning my second video, which was my first video but is now my second video, will be available relatively soon. You can even see a part of it in this video if you look closely. Alright, time for some actual clay. Let's get this pickle started. Time to make a pickle. Hey, fun fact, I didn't realize that pickles, or what Americans call pickles, were just pickled cucumbers until just a few years ago. So yeah, that's a thing. Turns out original Sculpey gets really soft once worked and warmed, making it difficult to work with, especially for the inexperienced such as myself. While you watch me struggle with this, I wanted to tell you about my plans for this channel. It sounds a bit formal. I'm not formal. My plan's not formal. Nothing's formal. Just I have ideas, and I'm hoping that you will come back and check them out. I mentioned there was to be a different first video. That's another clay thing. I have a squishy makeover in progress. If you've ever seen a squishy makeover, you should check out Mariah Elizabeth. She's the squishy makeover queen. There's a couple other channels I've watched that also do that. I didn't even know it was a thing until I found it on YouTube. You could probably say that about a lot of things. But I have a squishy makeover that's currently in progress. I also have ideas for a couple more squishy makeovers, and then I have extra squishies just laying around that I'm sure I can find something to do with. But just in general, I want to do everything. I want to try everything. There's so many things out there to try, so many new things that come out to also try, and I hope you will come along for the ride. I love working with resin. I also have a regular and a resin 3D printer that I'm looking forward to using in some of these projects. Let me know if there's anything you would like to see. Hopefully you'll enjoy watching me mess things up as much as I enjoy trying. The clay, well, softer than I'd like, is also suffering from the heat. To be fair, I'm suffering from trying to make this clay work because of the heat. And it turns out our AC sucks. At this point in the project, I was getting frustrated with the clay and decided that it was time to save my progress, also known as baking the clay. Looks like I didn't film using the air dry clay for the inner tube. I made this disc so I could know when the air dry clay was nice and dry. I'm outlining the general area where the portal will be, which is going to be a totally pointless thing that I do. Wait, what's the portal look like? Around this point, my mind went blank. How does one make a thing? It did not know. And I'm unsure where to start. First, some Jazza, where all painting should start. I don't know why this animation exists, but it does, so enjoy. On a sample chip from the air dry clay, I tested out the technique for putting the white parts around the portal, if it can even be called a technique. I just wanted to make sure I didn't screw it up, because it's anyone have to start over at this point. He needs some limbs. This pickle needs some limbs, which is where the armature wire comes in. While I would love to tell you all about the technical things I'm doing, I can't do that. I'm bumbling my way through this, much as one does life. I'm learning, and hopefully you might learn something too. That's the adventure part of my little adventure. What I can tell you is that armature wire is used to keep the clay from breaking apart. So, if you have like a thin leg or something and it's just the clay, it's likely to just sort of break in half. And we don't want that to happen. So that's what the armature wire is for. The armature? I'm not 100% sure what the word armature means. I'm gonna have to look that up. No, apparently it literally means a metal framework, which is what we're doing. Sweet. I know a thing. Yay. I have both a thicker and a thin wire here. I'm going to use the thicker wire for the legs, the thinner wire for the one arm. The other arm's going to be hidden, technically coming out of the portal. I don't know why I said that way. And the other arm will be coming out of the portal, so you're not gonna really see it, and it keeps me from having to try to make two hands. Hands are not easy. That's actually true in every medium I've ever tried to make hands in. Drawing hands, painting hands, drawing hands on a tablet, making hands out of clay. They're just not easy. You're also only going to see one of this guy's legs. The other one is going to also be still inside the portal. So there's no need for me to make that just to go and hide it. Since the original Sculpey clay was so soft, particularly with the heat inside the apartment, I decided to add a little Sculpey firm. Sculpey firm? That might be right. The gray is firmer than the white, and so I decided to mix them together and hope for something that was slightly more controllable. Feel free to let me know in the comments what you'd like to see and what you do and don't like about this video. I can't make them better if you don't let me know if you like or don't like a thing. So, let's talk. I don't expect to get a lot of comments on this particular video, but I will, in any case, attempt to answer each and every single one. Despite myself, I actually enjoyed trying to make the leg. I mean, it does not come out well. Oh, the leg is okay. The foot, on the other hand, really, really not well. Uh, don't get down on yourself, Ashley. Um, but I enjoyed all the little parts that went into making it. Have to use a number of different ways, a number of different techniques with the clay. Uh, if that makes any sense. Uh, Rolling out bits, making little balls, and trying not to squish the rest of the clay while you're in the process. Attempting to not squish the clay is my ultimate reason for baking the clay as much as I did. For this leg, I baked it in between like pretty much every single little part. I just didn't want to mess up what I had already done. At certain points here, you can see me using the liquid Sculpey or whatever it happens to be called at this point. I'm not 100% sure. They sort of rebranded or renamed, or is it rebranding if you don't change your brand name? Anywho, and what that does is it allows the Sculpey to, the clay, the solid clay, to actually stick to things like the armature wire or to other bits of clay without you having to worry about them just falling off. At this point, my project was reminding me more of something like Bananas in Pajamas as opposed to Pickle Rickle. That's not, no, that's bad. Bad, Ashley. I did the same thing for the face when it comes along. Every time I tried to fix something, it just squished something else. So baking it saved your progress. Number one lesson. The clay softener, the clear liquid that I keep dabbing onto my cutting pad there, is used to smooth out the clay. And it does things like get rid of your fingerprints, brush marks, or anything that you might have going on there so that it's nice and smooth. All right. Technically, I have built myself a Pickle Rick, and it is time to give him some color. At some point, I decided to set up a second camera because you just couldn't see quite right with just the one camera. So I'm hoping the second angle helps it out a bit. I'm going to work on that, work on this lighting, work on the sound, work on all the things to make it better. If you have suggestions, more than willing to take those. So please let me know. This Stay Wet palette is another thing from Jazza's art box. What it does is it allows you to come back and reuse your paints as long as the sort of sponge that's in there stays wet. Your paint should stay pretty moist, so you can come back if you're mixing colors. You don't have to attempt to remake that mix. You don't have to waste any. If you use larger amounts like I did here, I think it's probably better to use like a separate container to put the paints in, whether you're mixing or not. That way you don't take up as much of the... I ended up taking up the entire pad, which is kind of not the purpose. Initially, I intended to paint the rest of this with black 3.0, but in the end, I feel like you don't see enough of the empty space to waste the black 3.0 on. It's not exactly cheap. Just want to say thank you for sticking around to this point, and I hope that you will come back. I know my Pickle Rick is probably not the best Pickle Rick out there, but I'm learning. And hopefully by this time next year, I'll be even better at this. So stick around and Maybe we'll both find out. Oh, look, it's top heavy, just like me. Shut up, Ashley. Obviously. Air dry clay. Okay, so 1, baked albino.